For years, Sister Wives fans have watched Kody Brown spiral from the confident patriarch of a sprawling plural family into a man haunted by loss, loneliness, and regret. But in a recent emotional slip-up caught on camera, Kody revealed something that fans have long suspected. His future isn't the happy ending he once imagined. It was raw, painful, and shockingly honest. This wasn't the same Kody who used to boast about his big family dreams or the principles that kept him going. This was a man stripped bare, realizing that the empire he built on faith and love has turned into a shadow of what it once was. And in this rare moment of vulnerability, Kody's words said more than he ever intended. The cameras rolled in silence as Kody Brown sat in the corner of his Flagstaff home, the once boisterous husband of 4 wives, now reduced to a husband of 1, and a father facing the consequences of fractured relationships. His voice, usually booming with self-assurance, trembled as he admitted, "I don't know what my future looks like anymore." It was a moment that no fan of Sister Wives could have predicted when the show first aired years ago. Back then, Kody was the leader, the confident man who believed that love could be multiplied, not divided. But now, decades later, his world has collapsed under the weight of those very beliefs. When Sister Wives began, viewers were captivated by the Brown family's unconventional lifestyle. Kody and his wives, Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robyn, seemed to share a united front. Their polygamous marriage was presented as a test of faith, love, and patience. But as time went on, cracks began to form. Christine's growing unhappiness, Janelle's quiet independence, and Mary's isolation hinted at deep emotional fractures long before they became public. Now, in 2025, all that remains of that once sprawling family is a single marriage to Robyn, a marriage that itself has been described by fans as tense, strained, and sad. During a recent episode, Kody seemed unable to hold back his frustration as he reflected on everything he's lost. "I thought I could handle it all," he confessed, looking off into the distance. "I thought love would always be enough, but it wasn't." The words hit like a thunderclap. Fans took to social media instantly, expressing disbelief that Kody had finally acknowledged what so many had seen coming for years. His dream had failed. Gone were the days when he could comfort himself by saying that his family's struggles were just a phase. Gone were the justifications about divine purpose or destiny. What remained was a man who had alienated nearly everyone who once loved him. For Christine Brown, leaving Kody was both a heartbreak and a liberation. She's since found happiness with her new husband, David Woolley, and fans have embraced her as a symbol of empowerment and renewal. Meanwhile, Janelle, once known for her practicality and quiet loyalty, chose her independence over Kody's controlling ways. Mary, the first wife and the first to be emotionally sidelined, eventually found the courage to move on after years of neglect. Each woman's departure chipped away at the myth of Kody's control until only Robyn remained. And yet, even with Robyn by his side, Kody doesn't seem at peace. In his recent confession, he appeared to struggle with the reality he once denied, that being the last man standing isn't the victory he imagined. "I thought it would feel good to have stability," he said, his voice cracking, "but it's just quiet, too quiet." That statement resonated deeply with viewers, many of whom recalled Kody's earlier arrogance about his spiritual leadership and his belief that the wives needed to align with his vision. Now, with only Robyn left, that vision feels hollow. The tension between Kody and Robyn has also been evident in recent episodes. Robyn, often portrayed as emotional and protective, has shown signs of frustration. She's cried about missing the family unity and feeling isolated herself. "I didn't sign up for this," she admitted in one heartbreaking moment, tears streaming down her face. "I wanted sisterhood. I wanted family. Now it's just us and it doesn't feel right." For Kody, that statement cut deep. After all, he had fought to defend his relationship with Robyn, often at the expense of his relationships with the other wives. Now, even Robyn's loyalty seems shaken. Kody's slip-up, his emotional admission that he doesn't see a future for himself in the same light anymore, feels like the culmination of everything the show has built toward for over a decade. His children have grown distant, his faith in plural marriage has been shaken, and the public perception of him has shifted from confident patriarch to tragic anti-hero. What's even more striking is how self-aware he's become. In a rare display of humility, Kody told producers, "Maybe I was wrong about what love should look like. Maybe I expected too much from everyone, including myself." That statement, simple as it may seem, was revolutionary for Kody Brown. For years, fans and even his wives accused him of being controlling, prideful, and dismissive. He often refused to admit fault, preferring to frame conflicts as tests of loyalty. But this time, his tone was different. There was no deflection, no excuses, just quiet acceptance of the wreckage left behind. The House of Brown, once bustling with laughter, children, and shared dinners, now feels more like a museum of what it used to be. Behind the scenes, sources close to the Brown family say that Kody has been spending much of his time alone. He reportedly avoids filming when possible, preferring the comfort of solitude over confrontation. Those who've interacted with him describe a man haunted by regret, not just for losing his family, but for realizing that the spiritual foundation of his life may have been built on fragile ideals. One insider revealed, Kody starting to understand that his wives weren't just walking away from him, they were walking towards their own peace. The silence that hung in the air during the latest Sister Wives confessional was almost unbearable. For years, Kody Brown had been known for his confidence, his charm, and his almost unshakable belief that he was destined to lead a family unlike any other. But now his voice trembled, his eyes darted downward, and his words betrayed a kind of vulnerability that the audience had never seen before. "I lost everything," he whispered, his face pale and drawn, as though the weight of his past finally crushed the walls of denial that had long kept him standing. It was a haunting admission that stopped fans in their tracks, a rare glimpse of a man stripped of all the bravado and certainty that had once defined him. And as Kody continued to speak, it became clear that this wasn't a simple confession, it was a cry from a man facing the wreckage of his own making. Kody Brown was once the proud patriarch of a sprawling plural family. 4 wives, 18 children, and an unwavering faith in the principles of plural marriage had built the foundation of his world. For years, viewers of Sister Wives watched as he juggled the chaos of multiple households, endless responsibilities, and the delicate balance of keeping 4 very different women feeling loved and respected. To some, it looked like a miracle. To others, it was a ticking time bomb. And now, more than a decade after the show's debut, that bomb has gone off, leaving Kody standing in the ashes of what was once his dream. When Kody spoke those words, "I lost everything," they didn't come from a place of anger or even denial. They came from exhaustion, the kind that seeps into the soul after years of trying to hold onto something that no longer wants to be held. His wives have left him one by one, each departure peeling back another layer of the image he worked so hard to maintain. Christine was the first to walk away, her decision setting off a domino effect that changed the family forever. She had spent years feeling unseen, unloved, and trapped in a marriage that no longer made her happy. When she finally gathered the courage to tell Kody she was leaving, it wasn't done in anger, it was done in clarity. She wanted more out of life, more than what Kody was willing or able to give. Her decision shook him to his core, but instead of introspection, Kody responded with resentment. He told her she was betraying the family, that she was destroying their faith. But Christine had already made peace with her choice, and for the first time, she seemed truly free. Not long after Christine's exit, Janelle began to distance herself. Unlike Christine's, Janelle's departure wasn't loud or emotional. It was steady, quiet, and practical, much like her personality. She had always been the most independent of Kody's wives, preferring to focus on her career and children rather than the constant emotional roller coaster that came with Kody's shifting affections. Over time, she grew tired of the imbalance, the way Kody's energy seemed to flow only toward Robyn, the youngest and most favored wife. When Janelle finally left, she didn't look back. She told the world she valued her peace more than her marriage, and that she didn't recognize the man she had once called her husband. Mary, the first wife, endured her heartbreak long before the others. Her marriage to Kody had been on life support for years, strained by emotional neglect and the infamous catfishing scandal that humiliated her publicly and privately. Despite her efforts to rebuild their connection,
Kody had already emotionally detached. His statement to Mary that he no longer considered them married was the final blow. It was delivered coldly, almost clinically, as if cutting her out was simply a matter of practicality. For Mary, it was the end of a dream that had started long before Sister Wives ever aired. She was the one who had believed in him, who had stood by him when the world doubted, and yet she was the first to be emotionally abandoned. Now, only Robyn remains, and even that relationship appears to be fraying at the edges. Robyn, who was once portrayed as Kody's soulmate, has begun showing signs of regret and exhaustion. She has said more than once that being the only wife isn't what she wanted, that she misses the family dynamic and the sisterhood that once existed. The guilt of being labeled the favorite, combined with the stress of watching Kody unravel emotionally, has clearly taken its toll. In recent episodes, Robyn has looked tired, her usual optimism replaced by quiet sadness. Her tears no longer feel performative, they feel like they come from a woman who realizes that the foundation of her life is crumbling just as fast as everyone else's. When Kody admitted that he lost everything, it wasn't just about losing his wives, it was about losing his purpose, his identity, and his control. For years, Kody saw himself as a leader, someone chosen by faith to show the world that plural marriage could work. He framed his lifestyle as one rooted in divine principle, not ego. But as the years passed and his family fell apart, it became harder to tell where his faith ended and his pride began. The man who once believed he could keep 4 women happy with equal devotion found himself unable to maintain even one healthy relationship. And perhaps for the first time in his life, Kody is beginning to understand that his vision of family was never sustainable because it was built on inequality and expectation rather than empathy and compromise. Fans have long debated whether Kody truly understood the emotional needs of his wives. He often spoke about his role as a provider and leader, but less about being a listener or partner. When conflicts arose, Kody tended to retreat into defensiveness, insisting that his authority was being challenged rather than recognizing the pain behind his wife's words. This pattern played out repeatedly across seasons, culminating in explosive confrontations that viewers couldn't look away from. Each argument seemed to chip away at Kody's carefully constructed image until there was nothing left but frustration and blame. The fallout from Kody's behavior has been immense, both within the family and among fans. His adult children have spoken candidly about their strained relationships with him, particularly those from his marriages to Christine and Janelle. Some have said they no longer see or speak to their father regularly. Others have described feeling abandoned, as though Kody only made time for Robyn's kids. The fractures extend so deeply that even holidays have become a source of tension. While the family used to gather for Christmas and birthdays, those traditions are gone. Now, separate celebrations take place in different homes, each one a reminder of how far they've drifted apart.
Behind the scenes, insiders have revealed that Kody is struggling to come to terms with his isolation. He spends much of his time reflecting on the past, questioning how everything fell apart so completely. According to one production source, Kody has become increasingly withdrawn, often avoiding social situations and rarely venturing out without Robyn. He has reportedly turned down several opportunities to film family scenes, saying that he doesn't have the emotional energy to face his estranged wives. Those close to him say he's haunted by guilt and resentment in equal measure. Guilt for the things he said and did, and resentment for feeling abandoned by the very people he believed would stand by him no matter what. But the most shocking part of Kody's latest confessional wasn't his sadness, it was what came next. After admitting that he'd lost everything, he began talking about the future in a way that startled both producers and fans. "I don't know what comes next," he said, his eyes glassy, "but maybe I need to rebuild from nothing. Maybe this is my punishment, or maybe it's my chance to start over." The idea of Kody starting over seemed almost impossible to imagine. After all, how does a man who built his entire identity around being a polygamist begin again when that entire belief system has failed him? And yet, for the first time, he seemed genuinely open to the idea that change was necessary. Some have speculated that Kody might be considering leaving polygamy behind altogether. Others believe he could be planning to move away from Flagstaff and start a new chapter, one that doesn't involve cameras or controversy. There are even whispers that he has been in contact with counselors and faith leaders who have encouraged him to seek healing outside of the lifestyle that has defined him for so long. Whatever the truth, it's clear that Kody is at a crossroads. The man who once saw himself as the head of a vast spiritual family is now facing life as a husband of one, struggling to reconcile his beliefs with his new reality. Meanwhile, the women he left behind are thriving. Christine has remarried, finding love and happiness with David Woolley. She often shares glimpses of her joyful new life on social media, and fans have rallied behind her as a symbol of empowerment and second chances. Janelle, too, has found independence and peace. She continues to focus on her business ventures and remains close to her children. Even Mary, who spent years in emotional limbo, has emerged stronger than ever, dedicating herself to self-discovery and rebuilding her confidence. In many ways, their growth stands in stark contrast to Kody's stagnation, and that contrast seems to haunt him deeply. Throughout this emotional turmoil, one thing has become undeniable. Kody Brown is no longer the man he used to be. The arrogance that once characterized him has faded into introspection. The loud declarations about destiny and divine will have been replaced by quiet questions about where he went wrong. In one poignant moment during filming, Kody was asked if he still believed in plural marriage. His response was hesitant and uncertain. "I don't know," he said softly. "It used to mean everything to me. Now I'm not sure it means anything at all." That statement alone sent shockwaves through the Sister Wives fan base, signaling a possible end to the very concept that made the show famous. The irony of Kody's situation is painful, but poetic. For years, he wanted control over his marriages, his family, his faith. But now that he's lost that control, he might finally be finding something closer to peace. His pain, raw and visible, has humanized him in a way that years of confident speeches never did. Fans who once criticized his arrogance now find themselves feeling pity, even empathy, for a man who seems genuinely lost. His story has transformed from one of religious conviction to one of human frailty. Kody's darkest fears, as he revealed them, aren't just about loneliness or regret, they're about irrelevance. He said, "I don't know who I am without them. For so long, my whole identity was tied to being their husband, their father, their protector. Now, I don't even know what my role is anymore." That confession captures the essence of Kody's current state, a man untethered from the very purpose that once gave his life meaning. And yet, buried within his sorrow, there's a flicker of hope. Despite everything, Kody seems to understand that his story isn't over. He said in the closing moments of the episode, "Maybe losing everything is the only way to start over.